This Saturday, IC Barbecue on Dirksen, the former Turbo Fire Pizza, opening up, grand opening celebration. And among the guests that's going to be there, not just Ira, the chef.
No.
We're going to have a superstar appearance.
Yeah, it's not a celebration until this gentleman makes an appearance.
Yeah, and you tried to jump in on this interview because you've always wanted to board the Ho train.
Oh, of course. As a lifelong wrestling fan, who hasn't?
Yeah. So with that said, there's free autographs for one item and then $10 each afterwards. That's this Saturday afternoon. You can meet this gentleman. He is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Maybe Kama Mustafa, you know him as. Maybe you know Papa Shango, the Godfather, or the best of all, the Godfather. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, thanks for coming our way in a couple of days. Have you been to Springfield before?
Oh, I've wrestled there many times. I haven't been there lately, so it'll be a good trip for me. I look forward to it. And plus, somewhere in there, I hear that they got some pretty good damn barbecue.
I was able to sample it a couple days ago, and you're onto something there. But your appearance puts this over the top. How you been doing, man? How's everything going?
Life's been good, man. Very blessed. I'm basically retired from the business and that type of stuff. I still do appearances now and then, but I'm heavily involved in the cannabis business now. And the Ho train has kind of become the smoke train.
Okay.
I'm just doing good, man. I'm not in the. We sold the club a couple of years ago. And I'm not in that business anymore. Bro, I'm just enjoying life, man.
Wow.
Just enjoying life.
Of course, I don't know. Running a club like that doesn't seem like that's that horrible of a life to live either, though.
Man, I don't say pimping ain't easy for no reason, brother. Pimping ain't easy, man.
I wouldn't know.
Did you have any former members of the Ho train when you were Godfather come out to try to work in the club when you were running it?
Oh, all the time. Most of those girls worked in clubs, and the thing is I knew most of those girls for real. And, over the years, like me and Taker and the BSK running around, and we got to know a lot of girls. So it was cool, man. I knew most of them. A lot of them came to Vegas and worked at the club in Vegas. I just had a guy from New York call me and say, hey, brah, I got a girl working for me now, said that she used to work for you in 2 different states. I'm like, see there? Nationwide, but just enjoying life, man. It's all my kids are grown. It's me and my wife and our 3 dogs, and we're just kicking it.
You say now go from that business to the cannabis business now. So obviously, is this week pretty big week considering the date that we had earlier this week?
Big week for everybody. For me, every day is 420.
Right. Yeah.
I do a lot of influence stuff. I have my own line coming out, or my own strain, coming out. Probably, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. We're waiting on unfortunately, the packaging comes from China, so there's a holdup on it right now. But we're ready. But it's going to be called Insane Godfather, and it's only going to be in California because it's a legal thing, but it has to be grown there. But it'll be through Be Real and Dr. Green Thumbs.
Oh, wow.
And I think we're going to have a voodoo strain coming up pretty soon.
Yes. Well, you would have to have that because I see you wearing the shirt. You say that you're out of the business.
I didn't notice that.
Of course. How could I not? I mean, when you were playing that character, you put curses on people, but reading what was supposed to happen for that character in the future was supposed to happen that didn't. Do you feel like the character itself may have been cursed?
What was supposed to happen? Sometimes you guys know more than me.
Because I was reading up, and this may be Wikipedia, take with a grain of salt, but like the whole thing you were supposed to have with the Ultimate Warrior kind of fell through with him kind of leaving the WWE, and you didn't get the opportunities you were supposed to have, so instead you got Bret Hart instead of the Warrior.
To be honest, I have no idea. I was never promised a run with the Warrior or anybody like that. What happened, I think it was Sid. Somebody quit. I think Sid quit. And when Sid quit, he was in a program with the Warrior. And as I understand it, somebody's like, well, who's got any steam on him? I'm like, well, one person got any steam on him right now is Godfather. I mean, I was wrestling Tito Santana's and stuff like that. They were building me. And I kind of got thrown to the wolves is what happened to Papa Shango. And so I don't think there was any at that point. And with the Warriors problems, I don't think that, there was any plans for there to be a long drawn program. I think they had to sacrifice somebody. And unfortunately, I was the one sacrificed. But, bro, it worked out all right for me, man. And I ain't mad at nobody. I'm still under contract with them, under a Legends contract. They've always been cool with me. They've always paid me what they said they were going to pay me. Hey, I ain't mad at nobody down there, man.
Papa Shango.
Plus, they allowed me to be me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. But Papa Shango versus the Fiend of the current product. Who wins that match? Papa Shango, right?
Oh, man, Papa Shango. Man, Papa Shango's got the voodoo, baby. The Fiend don't have no voodoo. I can make things happen.
Right, exactly. I love it.
It did seem like that character, specifically Papa Shango, was ahead of the times where you were scaring little kids. Now, the horror element's no big deal, but was that you? Was that creative? Like, who came up with Papa Shango?
I was working in a topless club waiting. I'd been hired, and I was in a topless club called the Crazy Horse Saloon.
Were you one of the topless ones?
Waiting. Huh?
Were you one of the topless ones, or?
Yeah, I was one of the topless ones.
Okay. All right.
I was manager, bartender, bouncer back then. This is like 80, 87, 88. And I was waiting. I'd already been hired. I was waiting for a call, and they called me. I don't remember who called me. It might have been Vince. And they said, I think it was Vince, because one of the guys I was working with, they said, like, Vince is on the phone. I'm like, yeah, Vince is on the phone. It's like, no, Vince is on the phone. And so whoever it was, they told me to go rent the movie Live and Let Die. And they said, there's a voodoo character. It's a James Bond film. I already knew the film and the actor and everything. And that's where they got the character from. And if I'm saying it correctly, it was Baron Samedi or Baron Samadai, but that's where the character is from that. And that's why I stole that laugh. That was the Uncola guy. And dude, you have no idea how hard. First of all, I was green to the business. I'd literally only been in the business from learning to take a bump to the time that I got to the WWE, or F at the time. It'd only been a couple of years. And I was more of a biker, like a hardcore biker dude. And then they put me into this. They gave me Papa Shango because they said I had a body of a monster, but I had a baby face. And so Vince says, I got to do something with your face because your face don't match your body. And which is cool because May 16th, I'm going to be 60 years old, bro. And I still look pretty young. So that baby face helped me along with cannabis.
Yeah, exactly.
So you went more of a biker type personality to Papa Shango, the character. Obviously ended up as the Godfather. But you've ran the gamut. Is there anybody you missed out on?
See, the thing about me is, even though I love the business, I have respect for the business. I've made money in the business. Became a Hall of Famer in the business. But wrestling was never my number one job. It was always the strip clubs. And so wrestling, I used to be a crazy biker. I mean, dude, I've been tattooed like this since '84, when only people, only bikers and convicts had tattoos. And I was a hardcore biker, dude. And I don't know where we're going now because I'm thinking about my bike. What was the question?
No, man. Hey, do you ever feel like you missed out then? Like, Tate got to drive in the ring in a bike. What about you, man?
Oh, Kama got to ride in the ring in a bike.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, well, that's how that was where we were leading. Wrestling was always fun for me. And it was a way back then. There was a lot of crazy, tough dudes like me back in the day. It's not like that anymore. But there's a lot of crazy people. And so it was a way for me to go be around people that were crazy and strong and big like me. And when I wasn't having fun, I would leave. And I would go to Vince and say, Vince, I ain't having fun, bro. It's just wrestling was always fun to me. And so when it wasn't fun, I would leave. And then they would call me and ask me to come back. And I'd be like, nah, dude, I'm cool. Because I was making money. And I'm like, no, I'm cool, bro. I don't need that. I don't need to go through tables and stuff. They're like, well, we'll let you ride a Harley. And I'm like, oh, you let me ride a Harley? And he's like, yeah, we're going to do this chemo comma thing. And then, and then when that wasn't working out, I left. And then they called me back. And I was supposed to go back as Papa Shango one time. And then I showed up to the building, and Vince basically changed everything and put me in the Nation, you know. And when I went into the Nation, I had no idea until that day that I was going into the Nation. I was supposed to be Papa Shango that day. Damn. So, I mean, when I wasn't having fun, I would leave. And then they would call me to come back. And I'd be like, nah. They're like, come on, man, come back. I'd be like, nah, man, I don't want to come back. And so that's why you've seen so many different characters of me. Because when I wasn't having fun, I'm like, dude, I'm going through tables. We're wrestling the Dudley Boys every night. I'm going through a table. I'm doing this traveling. Dude, I could be home drinking Jack Daniels, looking at naked women, making more money, you know?
Nothing wrong. What faction or what time did you have the most fun? Obviously, probably
Godfather.
Godfather,
obviously. Not even
close. Yeah.
There's no, dude. I am so thankful that they allow me. I came through that attitude era, and they let people be themselves, because I had the time of my life, man, and it was nothing more than me just being me. And when I went to Vince with the idea, I mean, it was all my wife's idea. First of all, it was all that Godfather stuff's my wife's idea. And so when I went to him about it, you know, I wanted to be a mean pimp, a heel pimp, and he's like, "No, we can't do that." But I explained everything to him, man, and it took off. It was. I had a good time, believe me, and everybody around me had a good time.
Well, how was it then to get that kind of fan reaction? Because, you know, different characters were heels, and all of a sudden you come out as a pimp, and everyone's going crazy for you. What was that like for you?
You know, we fell into it, man. Me and Bradshaw were wrestling against each other. I was Kama, he was Bradshaw. We were the popcorn match, which was the match after intermission, and people were just sitting on their hands, man. We were getting no reaction whatsoever. We're beating the hell out of each other for 10 minutes. And so one day I'm like, hey, let's try something. And I went out there and kind of did a little made-up spiel, and people bought it. And then we did it the next night, and it was a little more refined, and people really bought it. And then when we went to TV, Vince was like, hey, you think you can get some girls? Let's try this on TV. And so I was like, can I get some girls? So me, Taker, and the Harris boys, Ron and Don Harris, we went to the local strip club and got some girls. We put it on TV without Vince ever seeing what I was doing, just hearing from the agents and the reaction from the crowd. And it was an instant hit. I mean, it was overnight, man. When I flew out from that airport, you know, that Tuesday or whatever day it was, and when I flew home, everybody in the airport's like, Godfather, where's the hose? Where's the hose? And it went from nobody saying nothing to you, just everybody. It was just that over. It was cool because it was nothing more than me being me and just being me. And I was never scripted whatsoever. You know, I didn't get censored till the Godfather days, but I was never censored at all. I was free to say and do whatever I wanted to say.
Wow,
that's impressive.
I'm amazed that it was your wife's idea too.
Right? Yeah, that's
all my wife's idea.
And so does she hold that over you nowadays? You're like, well, you wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if not for me.
No,
you gotta do the dishes there, buddy.
She's a bigger star than me.
Okay, all right. Well, just, you know. You never know.
I mean, we've been married now. I mean, there's not many people that, I mean, when I met her, I was Kama. I just became Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine. So, I mean, that's a lot. And we've been married 20 years now.
Congrats.
That's awesome. Hard to go through wrestling all that time being married.
Yeah.
People survive that. So that says a lot about her.
Absolutely.
What was the downtime like hanging out with the dudes in the Nation? I mean, The Rock wasn't the guy we knew right now. What was he like back then, as opposed to
Rock? He hung out with like D'Lo and Mark Henry and those. He didn't hang. Me and I was part of the strip club crew.
Okay.
You know, me and Taker and Macho Man and whoever, Kurt Hennig and just we were part of that older guys were part of that strip club. They weren't part of that strip club crew. They played Nintendo and they did all that other stuff, man. We were out there. So I never really hung. Rock, we played some dominoes in the room together sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I didn't ride with, we rode together for a minute as the Nation. And then Rock came to me one day and he's like, hey, big dog, I can't ride with you no more. And I'm like, well, why can't you ride with me no more? He goes, dude, everywhere I go, I smell like weed. He goes, I don't even smoke weed. He goes, and everybody's like, you say you don't smoke weed, but every time I'm around you, you smell like weed. So he's like, and so that's when him, D'Lo, and Mark Henry started, and then I jumped in with Bradshaw and Farouk. So
nice.
Yeah, man. It's a different era, different. They didn't do what we did. We hung out in strip clubs every night. Every night. They did other things. They didn't hang out in strip clubs.
So you probably wouldn't like the current locker room as much, because that's what I hear is that everybody backstage, that's what they do now.
I couldn't be in the current locker room today if I was that character back then. I couldn't be me today in the locker room. No, they no way. But I ain't mad at nobody. I mean, if you're a wrestler now, you probably grew up different and came up different and you're used to different things. So it's probably not a big deal. Back then, it was much more family oriented, where everybody was family. Even though you didn't like somebody, you were still family. And I think now it's just more business and how many followers and Instagram, which I'm part of that too. So, just a different business. Times change. I ain't mad at nobody, but it was fun being me.
Will we ever get another Attitude Era? The boom of popularity.
Closest you'll get to is AEW.
Okay.
And but no, you could never. You would offend too many people.
Yeah.
I mean, you would offend way too many people. And then myself, could you imagine me being on TV saying what I was saying, calling girls and doing that, and tell people to roll fatties? And
right.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, probably not.
Do you ever look back and was there a guy or a certain individual you wished you would have worked with more in the ring or had a program with?
Nah.
No.
Don't even think that way.
Okay.
No.
I don't even think it. To me, it was a job. It was a business. Okay. I wasn't a mark for myself. I wasn't a mark for the business. It was a job where I was around cool people that were just like me. And it was hard to find, people like that. It's just, it's a different time now. You couldn't be like we were back then. It was just a cool time to be. It's hard to explain.
No, I totally get it. I mean, even in the business you're in now, how much people's perceptions of it have changed now, how much more acceptable it is now. I have to imagine, with The Rock being all weirded out that he smelled like it, there are athletes now who swear by it because it helps them recover so much and they don't get addicted.
Let me tell you something. 99.9% of professional athletes smoke weed. They just don't let you know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I tell people, I don't ever give up names, but I used to tell them everybody smokes. Everybody smokes. You two smoke. I don't care if you say you do or not. You have it. You do.
I do.
Everybody smokes. And if they don't smoke, they take edibles. If they don't take edibles, they take the cream. But everybody, that's why it's becoming legal, is because that old way of thinking. I mean, I'm going to be 60 years old. That old way of thinking is dying off. Those people are dying. And people your age and younger coming up saying, man, my dad smoked weed and he was fine. And this one, I've been smoking and that's a bullshit. And so now you guys are becoming voters. You're becoming doctors, lawyers, senators, congressmen. Okay. And that's why it's not just money. It's because people's way of thinking is changing on everything. And killing cannabis. They're like, nah, we don't believe that. So thank God. I never thought it would be legal. Like I'd say the next 5 years or less, it'll be legal, completely federally legal.
Yep, definitely.
I agree with that. Well, we know you're a busy guy, so we'll let you go.
I gotta go play my disc golf.
You got to play your disc golf. What's next for you, man? I mean, where should we expect? Obviously,
right now, I'm looking at it's crazy because I start taking bookings and the world's starting to open up a lot more. And it's crazy. Like every 2 weeks, I'm in Springfield this week. The week after that, I'm in Northern Michigan. The week after that, 2 weeks after that, I'm in Denver. I'm 2 weeks in June 21st, I'm in New Orleans. I mean, it's getting really crazy, man. Which is good. But it's cool, man, because I'm just out there being me.
What can people expect when they come out this Saturday to see ICBBQ? Imagine just what we're getting right now. Down to earth dude, just happy.
I'll be a little more pimped out than I am now.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Okay, I'll be a lot more pimped out. And I think I'm bringing some Papa Shango. We're just going to have fun, man. You guys want to ask me questions? I will answer just about anything, but don't ask me questions that you don't want to know the real answer. And don't ask me like, is he a cool dude? Because I will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's not what you want to hear. So
Would the Undertaker rise up that fast at a strip club like he did in the ring?
no, I think if you do a little bit of searching, you'll see the video of me telling him when I wrestled him one time, I know you, and I know you like hoes.
That's
That's awesome. Very cool.
So many more stories
Yes.
available this Saturday. Again, Icy Barbecue, that is on Dirksen, the former Turbo Fire Pizza. So come on out Saturday afternoon and get an autograph. Meet the one and only Godfather. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you guys are welcome. You guys have a good day, and we'll see everybody Saturday.
Thank you.